All right, now you're going to wonder, what have I done with my life since we finished playing in the World Cup? And one of the things I have done, I've joined a very unique company, a very South African company, and a very South African fanatical rugby supporter. And I've joined a company called Richmark, and I'd like to introduce you to my boss. I know he hates me saying that, but I suppose everyone's got to have a boss, and Gavin Verigi is my boss. Gav, please do me a favor, just explain how I ended up working for a company like yours.
Okay, so, I'd tracked Jake's progress over many years, and Jake is the only guy in history to have coached the South African Under-21, the Springbok Under-21 World Cup, and the Rugby World Cup to victory. And an incredible guy, and I just figured that Jake's a guy that I would really like to have on our team. He had taken a decision that he would look into a commercial opportunity. I certainly didn't want to lose him to South Africa. I think Jake and I both have a lot of work to do in South Africa in terms of giving back and making a big difference to our country. So sport unites people. I'm very privileged to be the president of the South African Rugby Legends Association, which Johnny Allen and I started, and Jake will play a meaningful role in that. And Jake is a hell of a hero in our country. You know, everybody loves Jake. He sold over 300,000 copies of his book, which is amazing when you think that, Francois Pienaar, the Springbok captain in '95, did an incredible captain, an incredible person. Everybody has enormous respect for Francois as well. And in 12 days, Jake sold twice as many books as Francois sold in 12 years. So there was a lot happening in South Africa, and there is a lot happening in South Africa. We're going to make a huge difference. The South African Rugby Legends Association with Johnny Allen, the CEO of Legends, we're working on massive programs, upliftment programs for underprivileged people, for street kids, and all the other sporting codes are getting involved with us as well. So Richmark Holdings is a company where we try and find the entrepreneurial spirit and flair in people. We try and bring it out, give them opportunities to create their own wealth. Jake's already played a very meaningful role in that with a lot of the companies that we do business with. And I'm really looking forward to Jake getting more and more involved. You know, people say, Jake's a coach, why Jake? You know, I said, because Jake's not a coach. Jake is an incredible people's person, because that's what he did as a Rugby World Cup winning coach, or under-21s, even when he coached Jeppe. You know, how come he had a winning team? Because he made the people work together and network together.
But Gav, I've got to ask you this then, and one thing that I think you've got as well is that you feel like you want to come to work here. I mean, let's be honest as well. I mean, even everyone in the staff, I mean, people say, one of the things that I can tell you is that I had a family with a rugby team, I had a family with, I mean, you really run, I suppose, in a lot of ways, because you're a fanatical rugby guy, because you're a fanatical South African, because you're, all those principles are very, very important to you at Richmark as well. Let's not be, you know, how can I put it, you know, let's not be, what's the right word, arrogant, whatever, but say to you that the reality is, that's probably why when you took me for that lunch, I mean, it's the only company in the world, what I will say to you is I went to lunch before I got the job. Most guys go to lunch after they've got the job, but you took me to lunch before the job, Gav, and I knew, chatting to you and listening to all the players that have dealings with you, that family and feeling like you're part of a company is important to you. Is that right? That's exactly what it all is. In fact, it was Jake and I did our deal, if I can term it a deal, the day that Jake flew out for his final test when he coached against South Africa against Wales, which we won handsomely as well. And your words, Gav, which I'll never forget, was, this is the best year of my life. I've had an unbelievable year, and this just caps the year for me. I think it was the year you listed one of your companies, or Blue Label Telecoms? Well, Blue Label listed, which was, Blue Label Telecoms listed, which was fantastic. You know, a lot of the companies where I had significant shareholding were flipped up into Blue Label, and it was an absolutely fantastic year for me. Blue Label Telecoms is an amazing company. The spirit and the energy those guys have got, Brett and Mark Levy. Richmark is a company that I started, and basically, you know, I'm the CEO of the company. My function is a very simple one, okay? I want to make sure that everybody in the company is happy. That's my job, because I don't employ anybody stupider than me, okay? Whoever I employ has got to be smarter. Like Jake is a lot smarter than me, and everybody else, because if you employ people that you have to teach,
What's the point of employing them? Bring on smart people. I know what I'm good at. You know, when people say to me, Gavin, you're clever, I'm not. I'm actually very stupid, but I'm clever enough to know how stupid I am. So what I'm good at, I reckon I'm the best, and I certainly am the best at bringing on the best guys in the country. And like I say, it's been a fantastic experience. The time that Jake's been with us, we've had an amazing time. He joined us at the beginning of the year, so we came back from holiday. Jake got stuck into it. All the companies that are still within Richmark, we have a very solid property portfolio as well. And you know, we haven't lost a staff member in 15 years. Jake and I, our contract when Jake started was a handshake. Okay?
Still is.
And that's all it is.
Still is,
and it's
yeah.
not going to change. Yeah. We have, the company is very driven towards telecommunication or technology that will work with the various telecom networks, whether it's fixed line or GSM. We have a significant stake in iBurst. iBurst, as you know, is brings the internet into the home. And as Jake was saying earlier, Jake's an immigrant.
Yeah.
You know,
a real immigrant.
A real immigrant. I'm still very much a real immigrant. But you know, as I say, Back to the Future. You know, if you have a look today, you go to all the clubs, all these top DJs, they're spinning vinyl, buddy. They're not using CDs. You know, so.
Not that we go to clubs, it's just our kids tell us that, Steph.
Exactly.
You know?
That's right. Tell us about what's going on. Yeah. And you know, we just, you know, we work very closely with companies. A lot of guys come and see us with product, with technology. We try to maintain our focus, our core focus, and not to bring in or invest in too many companies that are too diverse from what we're doing. And I really believe in South Africa. I think this is still one of the very few countries in the world where a car costs more than a property. So to everybody out there, if you guys are thinking of going, don't go, stay here. We need you. Yeah. We need the good guys in our country. We need the top guys in our country to stay a part of our country.
Not just the top guys, Gav. I think the one thing I've also picked up from Gavin, and we talk about rollout parks, we talk about upliftment of underprivileged, we talk about the 2010 football. And the reality is, quite simply, I think the one thing that irritates Gavin, which irritates me, is when people are negative, talk about 2010 going to be a flop, talking about the fact that there's load shedding, talking about Eskom, talking about, you know, immigrating, talking about, I mean, the reality is you're not going to get anything better than you are in South Africa. And I know you're launching YouTube South Africa, that's exactly it, you know. Now we've got our own YouTube South Africa, Steph, and the reality is this is a country that can only go forward. It's easy to stand and criticize everything, it's easy to be negative. I think the one thing we have to do, and I enjoy about being at Richmark, is there's no negative people here. You know, Gav might say there are a lot of clever people, and there might be a lot of people that do their jobs, and a lot of people that enjoy working here, but I can tell you one thing, there's no negative people here. You can't surround yourself with people that want to pull you down all the time, you know, and I suppose in summary, that is what Richmark is about. Whether it's our Burst, whether it's our Wise, whether it's Vodacall, whether it's the property development companies, whether it's the, you know, whatever you want to call it, the reality is those companies all have people that are very positive about South Africa, about working in an environment, about sharing things that they have. And that's probably, Steph, for me in closing, why I joined a company like that. I wanted to stay in South Africa. I wanted to work for a company that's proudly South African. I wanted to make a complete and utter difference to the way South Africa is going to develop in the next couple of years. And I've hit a luck. I've got a rugby fanatic, sports fanatic, passionate, positive, entrepreneurial person that gives you everything you want in terms of your self-development. And I don't think there's too many people in the world that can get up in the morning and have that as a boss.